Good evening. Good evening. Sorry, I was just finishing up the dance. I love the countdown music. One day, eventually, I'm going to have my own intro song, right? And I know it's late night, but for some reason, I'm more productive at night. But anyway, let me cut to the chase of what this live stream is about. It is called Scrambled Eggs. Why? I'm sure you're wondering, why have I entitled this Scrambled Eggs? Because your girl, your favorite sister, your neighborhood sister, has finally scheduled her appointment with Shady Grove Fertility, and I am going to check my egg reserves. Now, you might be like, okay, well, what does that really mean? What does that really mean? Well, we're going to dive right into it. But first of all, good evening. Good evening. Good evening. Hopefully, you guys are all snuggled away in bed. Maybe you'll roam here, in the late night creep if you're Googling or, searching through YouTube to wonder about fertility and polycystic ovarian syndrome. If you are new here, I have PCOS. I have had PCOS for the past decade. I am a classic insulin resistant type PCOS sufferer who has advanced to diabetes, but that's for another conversation. But the more important thing that I'm worried about now, I shouldn't say worried, but that I'm investigating is, can I conceive? I am 36 years old, going on 37. No, I do not have a partner. But I do anticipate having a partner, and I want to know our options. I want to know, what am I bringing to the table? Am I bringing fertility to the table? So with that being said, I have faced my fears and I'm embarking on this journey, and I set up an appointment with Shady Grove Fertility to start the process of learning more about my hormonal load, to see about my egg quality, and to kind of guesstimate when I would be entering menopause, to see how much time I actually have left. My doctors are pressing me like a press-on nail to get pregnant. At this point, they're even giving out bad advice about just letting someone release their seed in me and being okay with being a single mother, just to make sure we get a baby out before 40. Because as they say, the optimal health conditions for having a safe pregnancy decline after 35. Well, now I'm 36. And so they're concerned that I may not be able to carry a baby to term without having complications, because that's what doctors are supposed to say. But I serve a mighty God. And I say all the time, if it is meant for me to walk down the aisles of motherhood, then God will let that happen. He will let that happen, and He will let that happen. And I am putting the faith in my work that whatever the outcome is, I will be okay with it. So tomorrow, actually, at 8:15 a.m., I have my appointment with Shady Grove Fertility to go over the first preliminary discussions just about oh, excuse me. Oh, Jesus. The first preliminary discussions just about my family history, my history with PCOS. And then we are going to talk about the egg reserve test. How many eggs do I have left? So, for those who are not aware what an egg reserve test is, it tests the estimate ovarian reserve, or the number of eggs a woman has remaining in her ovaries before menopause. Okay. Now, there is some confliction about the accuracy of this test, but either way, I need to see if I have an ample amount of eggs. And if not, then I need to go into IVF, freezing, other methods to ensure that I at least have some egg that can be, fertilized, and maybe have a surrogate, however I'm going to do it. I don't know where I'm getting this money from, but follow me. And how this is tested is through AMH. AMH is a hormone that is, triggers, and it is able to be tested so that a woman will know how many eggs she has in reserve, along with a vaginal ultrasound, or I should say uteral ultrasound. Either way, ultrasound. I'm not a doctor. I'm not supposed to know all the terms. To kind of see how many follicles are left within the ovaries. Now, based on my mom, she didn't start going into menopause until almost 60. So I'm hoping that that is a good sign that I have a lot of eggies left, okay? I never, ever, 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 ever envisioned I would get to 37 without children. Um, or a husband. I don't know if I should be alarmed that I'm going to be a part of the percentage of women who don't have kids or enters, midlife without, a spouse. But I'm a wonderful person, so I don't think God's going to do that to me. But, either way, I'm moving in a way where I'm not hopeless, but I'm going to be prepared. Um, so with these egg reserve tests, a lot of times they predict that by 35, where a woman might have 150 to 100,000 eggs at 30, by 35, that's almost slashed down by a third. Studies show that women by 35 only have 80,000 eggs left, and then it kind of just declines by 10,000 or so a year until she reaches the age 40. I'm hoping because of my PCOS that somehow these eggies were reserved. And the reason why I say that is a lot of women with PCOS do not ovulate regularly, so they're not releasing an egg. However, the other caveat to that is as we age with PCOS, our hormones tend to kind of come into balance because either our testosterone dominance or usually if you're estrogen dominant, it starts to decline a little bit, which puts you back into normalcy. And then you start kind of ovulating regularly later in life. That's what they say. That's what they say. But with me, I have gotten a pretty regular period, actually a very regular period since the age of 30. So I don't know what that means. But it may be a good thing, it may not be, but we are definitely going to find out tomorrow. The other thing that I will be testing in the upcoming months is my egg quality. Now, I don't know the specifics on how that test will be with the fertility, right? But as soon as I have more specifics of what kind of test that is, I will share it with the ladies who may be looking for some PCOS assistance or some more insight on the fertility journey as it pertains to a woman with PCOS. Now, one of the good things that I have discovered about egg quality based on my research is that if you have a pretty regular period, your egg quality has a better chance of being healthy. Some of the signs of low egg reserve or poor egg quality are absent periods, shorter than average menstrual cycles, irregular periods with heavy or light flow, or a history of miscarriage. Now, when it comes to me, I've only tested positive for pregnancy once. And that one did end in not going full term. It was more so of a chemical pregnancy. I guess that's what they've called it. Now, to my defense, I try to practice safe sex very, very often. So it's not like I have really actually ever tried to get pregnant. So there's that. So I can't say that I'm infertile because I haven't actively practiced getting pregnant. But I will say that one time that I absolutely knew the person definitely did what they were doing. And I absolutely tested positive. And what's crazy is I felt my body being off during that period of time. Um, so I feel like I will be very aware when I'm pregnant, prayerfully. I don't want to be on like that show where I didn't know I was pregnant. I know that's a real show, but I definitely would love to be like super in tune spiritually with my womb to where I gotta like, this might sound crazy, y'all, a sign from God that I'm pregnant, whether it be a dream or I'm dreaming of the baby inside my womb, whatever the case may be. that's the way I would want my whole conception story to come about, right? But I have not had that experience since. So, it kind of alarms me. Yes, have I had unprotected sex past that point in which I tested positive? I mean, since y'all in my business and I'm sharing it, yes, but I haven't had it to a place to where me and a guy were actually trying. So, it makes me nervous coming into 37, and I don't have that person yet. I'm not gonna lie to you guys, but I've seen stranger things happen. I've seen women in their 40s conceive healthily and happily, and I'm very hopeful that that's gonna be me too. But I would love a baby before 40, maybe around 38. But where he's at, I don't know. But then at some points, I get scared because I don't feel like I have the bandwidth for a baby. I don't have a house yet, and there's still a few more things I want to accomplish, but I've seen some amazing super moms do it. So that gives me hope. Now, at 37, just to caveat back to how many eggs I should have. On average, a woman around 37 only has 25,000 eggs left. I hope that my egg reserve is higher than that. I hope that when I go, that I at least have about 50 to 60,000 eggs left. If I have 50 to 60,000 eggs left, that will give me hope that I will be able to pop out a baby in my 40s and prayerfully all goes well. But if I have a lower tier of eggs left, I mean, it won't make me lose hope, but it will definitely be a wake up call that, family planning might look alternate for me. I might have to be a stepmommy, or adopt or foster. Um, and even though that's not my desired way of being a parent, I still wouldn't shy away from it because I love children. I always tell people, I go back and forth on the thought because I know babies are expensive. And then when they get to the age of walking and talking back, it's a whole nother ball game. But I would never sit here and say that being a mom has not been a desire on my heart from very young. I ain't gonna sit here and say I want a whole zoo worth of children or a basketball or football team, but I always pictured at least having one. So I'm very, very nervous, but I'm also super excited for tomorrow to see if I will have the capability of possibly conceiving. And the bigger part of me, and I know I'm rambling, but the bigger part of me wants to see if I can do it on my own. Like I think a lot of women with PCOS go through this phase of wanting to have control of their body and their way their body functions. And being able to get pregnant makes us feel like we're in control, our bodies are normal. I have the capability of doing what I was naturally created to do based upon my gender and my sex, right? And my organs. Like I'm able to do what my body parts are supposed to do, which are to carry a baby. Um, I haven't thought of the, alternative of them saying, hey, you are not fertile, or there's not a lot of eggs left. The possibilities of you getting pregnant are slim. I don't know how I will emotionally deal with that if that ends up being the feedback after testing. I definitely think that I'll need therapy and grief support because, grief doesn't necessarily have to be the loss of someone living that you've met. It could be the loss of a job, it could be the loss of many a thing. And I think that I would probably need grief counseling if I were to realize that bringing life into this world is not something I'm capable of doing. Like I'm getting emotional now thinking about it. Like, what is that going to look like if I'm not able to do it? How am I going to just, you know, cope and let my new normal be that motherhood naturally is not going to be a part of my life path? Will I sit there and tell the doctors no way? Will I sit there and believe in God in terms of, I'll always believe in God, but like believe in God to defy what the doctors say? I don't know. And then maybe I'm thinking too far ahead because I don't have a husband or a partner that's trying to get me pregnant, but I still want to be able to do it. Um, I just, I hate not being able to know right now. Like, I hate that I'm not even in the practice of trying to get pregnant, but it would devastate me, y'all. It would really devastate me to sit and not be able to naturally get pregnant. Like, I have to really understand that that would not be something that I would be able to deal with easily. But I'm not trying to make this a sad conversation. This is an exciting moment in my life, to be honest, to go and be able to at least determine if I can be a mom the natural way. Because I fantasize about my pregnancy journey and my baby bump and reading to him or her and just, building that bond from the womb on out. But, I'm going to accept what comes with it, good or bad. But I wouldn't be lying. I would be lying if I said that tomorrow wasn't one of those days where I'm probably going to freak out before I get to the doctor's office. Probably going to be an emotional mess because I'm overthinking it. Now, you don't have to go to a fertility specialist. Like, you don't have to necessarily do what I'm doing. They have at home egg reserve tests. I think one of the tests that I remember seeing was called modern fertility, I believe. There's modern fertility. There's Everlywell also has some. And then there's Natalist, I think, also has some at home egg reserve tests that are relatively inexpensive. So each of these, egg reserve fertility tests are under $200. So there's that part. And you can do it in the safety and the privacy of your own home. I've heard that they're all very, very accurate, especially modern fertility. Now, I thought about doing it that way, but I've heard great things about Shady Grove Fertility as well. It was recommended by my OBGYN. So I'm going to go with that. And then once I get my egg reserves, it will be testing the egg quality and possibly understanding the process of even finding donor sperm. Now, let me be clear. Donor sperm would be the last resort, okay? I pray God sends me a handsome king that wants to be a dad and wants me to be the mother of their kids. Because I really don't want to sit there and explain to any offspring of mine that, yeah, you were created because mommy went to a lab and wanted a baby very badly. And I handcrafted you based on features and who I thought would make a beautiful baby with me. And we picked out his sperm and it fertilized the egg and then they inserted it in me. I don't really want to go that route. Because at that point, my child doesn't know who their dad is. And it's so complicated. It's so complicated. So I want a normal, traditional route of getting pregnant. But we'll see tomorrow, guys. We'll see tomorrow. But I won't keep you. Make sure you stay tuned. I'm probably going to vlog it Probably gonna vlog it, put it in the shorts, my fertility walk. So make sure you're subscribed to my page, the Sisters Chat Room. Make sure you watch the shorts so that you can get, some insight of what I'm doing tomorrow morning. And I will be back with an update on the next step of fertility. All right. Ciao, ciao. Make good choices, say your prayers, and sleep tight.